Welcome back to Just Skin Deep. I'm your host, Siabi. So today we are going to be talking about surgery once again. But this time we're not talking about Mekaba, we're not talking about butt lifts, we are talking about breast reduction surgery. And to have this conversation with me, I have Mrs. Inga Sebata and Dr. Brian Munaishi, who is a reconstructive and cosmetic surgeon. Now, Inga, I'm going to start with you. Why breast reduction?
Sure. So I've had big boobs most of my adult life. Basically since I started puberty, which was when I was 10. So I've always wanted to reduce my boobs when the time was right.
What cup size were you before you had your surgery?
I was a G cup, 34G.
So you were this big?
Well, because I was wearing, good bras. Yeah, you couldn't tell that I'm carrying a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I was a G. Yeah, I was a G cup.
So then you decided when you were much older that you were going to reduce them?
Yeah, so I decided once I was much older, I had my kids and they were semi-independent, then I was going to reduce them.
So that was your aha moment after you had kids?
No, my aha moment was in matric. So my first consultation was in matric, actually, back home. That's the first time I saw a surgeon.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time.
Wow.
Why do you think I send people pictures of my boobs every day?
Okay, now I get it. Now, doctor, what is the criteria if one wants to have their breasts reduced?
Okay, so, it's elective surgery. So we would want the client or patient to be in good health, to not have any serious comorbid conditions or immunosuppressive conditions. The most important probably being diabetes.
Oh, okay.
That can affect your wound healing quite badly. And then also your BMI should not be above 30.
Oh, so I can't...
Well, you can technically still do the operation, but there's just a higher risk of wound breakdown and complications like that, but no major complications.
Yeah.
Sure.
So other than diabetes, what other chronic illnesses do you look at?
That we would want to exclude. So if you have any chronic autoimmune conditions, that would be an exclusion criteria. HIV on its own is not an exclusion criteria. Once your CD4 count is above 350, we know that you heal well.
Yeah. So you mentioned that your journey started in high school. How long did the whole process start from consultation to now you're done?
So I came to see, so my very first consultation was in high school, yes. And then obviously life happened, got married, had kids, and then the journey now started. I think my first consultation was in May this year. Came to see Dr. Brian in May this year.
Wow.
And then booked surgery date on the 27th of July. So I'd say 2 months from consultation to surgery date.
How long does the surgery last?
The surgery takes about 2.5 hours to do, and the results of a breast reduction should be maintained for about 15 years.
So she can last with her new breasts
for at least 15 years, before you get recurrent dropping of the breast tissue. Although with the newer methods that we use, we actually don't have an end point. The idea is to maintain the results for the rest of your life.
Now, I know that a lot of our people, and I mean the melanated type, they're scared to go under the knife. Are there any risks to a surgery like this?
Well, of course, with surgery, there is always an anesthetic risk, which we look to exclude. Most of my patients in particular have had children, so a lot of them have had cesarean sections. So we know that they're safe for anesthesia. And then other risks, the most catastrophic risk with breast reduction would surely be loss of the nipple.
Sensation in the nipple?
Loss of the nipple. Before you get to the sensation, where the blood supply to the reduced breast, the nipple isn't getting enough blood supply, and the nipple dies and leaves you with the
So now you're going to have a nipple surgery.
So then you would consider doing nipple reconstruction, where you use local flaps to try and create the illusion of a nipple. But increasingly what we are using is 3D tattooing. That also works quite well in most people. Some people, because of the scar tissue, the tattoo pigment doesn't sit so well. But most people are able to get a good
My mind is
result.
blown right now. So how did you tell your family that you've made the decision and you're now finally doing it? And how did they react?
So my family has always known, I mean, like I say, my journey to want to do this has always been a recurring theme in my life, and always gets reminded by every time I need to shop for a bra, and I'm like, I really need to do
Didn't your
that.
husband cry a bit?
No, well, he was skeptical in the beginning because he didn't know what the boobs are gonna look like.
Yeah.
And then the first time he saw them, when I removed the post-surgery thingies, what do you call them?
The bandage.
The
yeah.
bandage. He was very happy. So my mom was very supportive. My in-laws were very supportive. Because I think by the time I made the final decision to do it, they have always known that I wanted to do it. So it wasn't a surprise.
Now, I know that there are probably a lot of women like Inga out there. What is well, not one, but what do women with big breasts go through? What do they tell you that they go through?
Okay.
And why they're doing what they want to do?
Sure. So, you have this physical symptoms, the back pain, the grooving of the bra and the shoulder strap. You have the skin rashes that they sometimes develop. But I think an underrated aspect of it is the psychosocial impact. Of being a teenager and you've got large boobs, you get sexualized at a very young age. People don't look at you when they're talking to you. So you find a lot of younger patients with big breasts start to hide them from a young age. They walk a little bit hunched over, besides the physical symptoms.
And they become self-conscious.
They become very self-conscious, very reserved.
Yeah.
Luckily, Inga is not like that.
She's not at all. She is having booby parties. No reservations here. So in that case then, when is the best time to call a doctor and say, hey, I think we need to do something about this?
Sure. So, with the breast reduction, we don't generally advise people to wait until they finish their families because it's such a problem from such a young age. What we do advise is to wait until maturity, physical maturity, which in women we put at about the age of 20. Okay. So it's only in very exceptional circumstances that you would do a breast reduction before the age of 20. But yeah, anytime after the age of 20, I think, the breasts have finished growing. So,
how are you feeling on the first day?
Of surgery? Oh
yeah.
my goodness. I was confused, firstly.
Because we know now you have booby parties. But before the booby parties, how did you feel going in, knowing you're going to come out different?
So on the day I was extremely nervous, I won't lie, because I've never been under general anesthetic. I've had C-sections twice when I had my kids, but I've never been completely under. So I was very nervous. I didn't know, I'm going to wake up looking like what? Is my nipple going to get lost? Thinking all the things I should not be thinking. So I was very nervous. And then when I eventually woke up, the first thing, obviously, I looked at.
You touched it. You copped a feel.
Yes, I remember actually Dr. Brian going, Mima Sebata, wake up, wake up. And I was like, oh, you guys are done.
And you couldn't believe it, right?
And I was very excited. I was very happy. Very happy. I still can't believe it. Like, it still hasn't sunk in yet.
Has there been a demand for the procedure?
Well, I think with especially the African population, having big breasts is quite common.
Yes, very common.
But at the same time, what you were saying is also true. There's a lot of fear of general anesthesia. There's fear of, surgery. So in my private practice, over the last 7 years, we have seen a steady growth in the demand for breast reduction. It's becoming a lot less stigmatized as a cosmetic procedure. Although I don't necessarily think it is only cosmetic. I think a lot of it is, just reconstructive surgery because the breasts are unwieldy and they're so symptomatic. But yeah, there is definitely an upswing in demand and acceptance of breast reduction surgery.
Now, I know that with implants,
Yeah.
you implant silicone. With breast reduction, what do you remove?
So what we do is we design a pedicle. A pedicle is the piece of tissue that's going to carry the nipple to its new position. And once we've designed that and set that out, we do a reduction where we cut away the rest of the breast tissue
Okay.
and move the nipple into its new position and close that. So
What do you mean design?
it's a design. We use there's 3 different ways of doing a breast reduction. And you can mostly see it with the scarring, okay? So depending on the amount of extra skin that there is, you have to reduce not just the breast tissue, but also the skin envelope, right?
Oh.
So you might do it with just a periareola if there's a very small reduction, where you just have 2 circles around the nipple, areola, and then you just squeeze them together and use that pattern to make the breast smaller. If they're a bit bigger than that, you have to add a vertical scar just to allow for the extra skin to be cut away. But in most patients, we have to do something called a inverted T, where the scar goes around the areola, down to the breast fold, and along the breast fold.
And all this takes 2 hours?
About 2.5 hours, yes.
Okay, so you're that good at your job.
It takes a lot of concentration.
How long did your recovery take? Because you said you had your surgery in July, right?
July, 27th of July.
How long did the recovery take?
So they say 6 weeks for recovery, yeah.
Wow.
But I think I started feeling like myself again, I'd say 2 weeks post-surgery.
Yeah.
That's when I started to be able to help myself more around the house and, with my own movements. But it's advised 6 weeks.
How painful is it?
It's not, hey? I have to
Really?
be honest. No, boobs are not painful.
Wow.
I mean, obviously you can see that something has been done on you, but no, or maybe I have a high pain threshold. I don't know.
No, boobs
But
generally are not
they're
painful.
not
I think
painful.
Even with implants.
they're designed to be grabbed and handled by babies. So
Of
with
all
the,
ages. Babies of all ages.
with the reduction, we find generally that patients are surprised at how little pain they have.
Yeah, it's very little pain. Very little pain.
Wow, because anybody thinks surgery and you think I'm going
No,
to
the
be in
pain
pain
is
for at
very
least
little.
2 months, What would you advise somebody who wants to have breast reduction? And this I'm asking the both of you because you've been through this.
Yeah, so I would advise you to consult with a qualified plastic surgeon. With the interest in plastic surgery increasing, there's a lot of surgeons who are appearing out of the woodwork, who have an interest, and who are looking to capitalize on the market opportunity. So I think consult with someone who's trained to do the job, who's done a few of them at least, and can show you their pre and post-op results. That for me would
And
be
how
the
would
most.
you find a surgeon like that? Because like you said, now everybody is moving into aesthetics.
Yes, there's a
everybody
lot.
wants
Every
toned
corner.
and sculpted body.
Right.
So then how do you tell that the doctor that you found actually knows not only what they're talking about, but what they're doing?
That's a great question. In the age of Instagram, you find a lot of doctors advertising themselves on Instagram.
Yes.
For me, I do use social media. I don't post my patients because I want my referrals to be word of mouth based. I want it to be based on people I've seen and results that people have seen. And I think word of mouth is probably still the most reliable way of identifying a surgeon that you can work with.
Well, what would you advise?
I mean, I have a lot of my
somebody
friends coming here now.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, you're the new spokesperson?
Yes, I am.
Make her your ambassador. You've got an ambassador right here.
I mean, I had a book party today.
But what would you tell somebody who's thinking of having breast reduction surgery?
Consult, yes, definitely, but also make sure that you have proper support post-surgery, especially, to help you with, lifting and all of those things, because you can't do those things for a while. And it's actually not as scary as you think it is. I promise you, it's not as scary. I promise you, it's not as scary as you think it is. It really isn't.
Okay, I'm gonna now switch things up a bit. Why cosmetic and reconstructive surgery? I mean, why not be a dentist? Why not be a pediatrician?
Sure. So
do you want to play with?
No, actually, the decision to do plastic surgery was based on hand surgery. My dad had an injury to his left arm as a teenager and had been left paralyzed in that hand. So when we were doing anatomy at medical school, the anatomy of the hand and how it works, and the fact that I realized that if he had met a plastic surgeon at that time, he would have been able to avoid the paralysis. kind of made me have an extra interest in plastic surgery. Although I did work in HIV medicine for about 8 years before going back to specialize. When I first finished medical school, South Africa was in the grips of the AIDS epidemic, if you're old enough to remember. So cosmetic surgery and breast reconstruction, lipo and tummy tucks is just an avenue that my specialty grew in, I think, because of the clients I had and the interest I had in having happy clients.
What was your first surgery?
The first surgery that I did, or it must have been to stitch a small scar or a keloid.
Cosmetic or reconstructive?
Definitely reconstructive. I mean, I worked at Barra and I still work at Barra. I still consult there and do some training there. But I've worked there since 2009 in the plastic surgery department. So, when you start out with the cuts, the human bites, the lips, the noses. And then you do a bit of keloid, you do some skin cancer excisions. Yeah, but my most exciting surgery would have to be in arm reconstruction. They're kids who are born without an ability to flex their elbows, either from a birth injury or a congenital muscle problem. And what we would do is move some muscles around to allow them to function properly. So that's my most exciting surgery.
And your most memorable?
That would be my most memorable surgery, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask the elephant in the room. Cost. Who's going first?
Breast reduction surgery as a total cost in my office, I'll be honest with you, is 85,000 Rand for this year. I don't know what it'll be next year, but that's a total fee. So that includes the hospital, the anesthetist, myself, as well as all the post-op surgical care.
So it's an all-inclusive package?
Sure.
Can I pay the medical aid?
Medical aid, for the most part, sees cosmetic surgery sees breast reduction as a cosmetic procedure, which I think can be very unfair. Some patients have very large boobs or gigantomastia. I had a patient last week where we took off 2 kilograms on the right breast and 1.9 kilograms on the left breast. So I think to classify that as a cosmetics procedure is a bit unfair on the patient. But there's a couple of medical aids that do approve of it. But for the most part, most don't consider it a reconstructive procedure.
And do public hospitals offer?
Yes, we do. We do breast reduction at Barra. Barra, Chris Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital is a people's hospital, so we don't charge there. At Helen Joseph, they also do offer it, but there's a small co-payment on the part of the client. And with Joburg Jen, I think the focus, or Charlotte Mateke, sorry, the focus is more on the cancers. I think they do a lot more cancers there, so they don't really have space for breast reductions. But at Barra, yes.
In closing, Inga, how has life been with your new boobies?
Amazing. Hello.
Confidence is back.
It has always been there. Now it's
on 100.
Now it's confidence and vanity together.
And I'm sure shopping for a bra must be fun now.
I mean, I haven't gone to shop for a bra yet.
Yeah.
The ones that I wear now are the sports bras that I got here.
Okay.
But I can't wait to go.
You said she was a G before. What is her new cup size?
So when we do the op, we don't aim for a specific cup size. What we try and do is get an understanding from the client or patient of what size they would want.
Yeah.
But I think in Inga's case, she had said she wanted to be about a B cup, and I think we got it right.
No, you did, because I think, I'm also
cute.
I'm also a B, so I can see right now.
My boobs are cute. Very cute.
You're in love with them, aren't you?
In love. They are so cute.
Treat them well.
I will.
Have fun with them.
I will.
Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm speaking from
they are
experience.
beachy. They are going to the beach.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. This was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for me.
Thank you for opening up.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. To get this episode and other episodes, www.snl24.com, or you can follow us on all our social media platforms at SNL24. And we are out.
Thank you for tuning into Just Skin Deep. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and gained some valuable insights into plastic and reconstructive surgery.